Hi, my name is David and welcome again to AllCBTs. Now I've made for you 50 top science questions for every primary school student. So if you are a primary school pupil watching this, or you have a sibling or a family member that is a primary school pupil, you want to share this video with them and get them to watch it as they prepare for the entrance exam in the future. I'm talking about the National Common Entrance. Now, this question is suitable for all countries and for all pupils from the primary 1 to the primary 6 class. You can also see that it's suitable for quizzes, so you can use it for quizzes amongst yourselves. You can use it in examination questions. You can also use them as assignments, take home, or as popularly called homework. And then you can use it for home practice. So instead of spending hours on live shows and on apps that will not add value to your child or to yourself, you can watch many of these videos which are already in the channel as you prepare yourself for the common entrance exam. I did my own common entrance exam from a class of primary 4 instead of the usual primary 6, and I came third best in my local government. And it was not without past questions, although there was no YouTube past questions as at that time, or it was not popular, but I studied a lot and a lot of past questions. So you can do the same. There's no need for Expo or looking for special center. Download the app, which you can find a link in the description, and begin to practice multiple of questions. Okay, you can also watch videos as this, as I said earlier, as you prepare yourself 100% mentally to beat any exam that comes across your way. Yeah? Now let's get into it. We have 50 questions, like I said, and this is question 1. Which of the following is not a digestive organ? That means which of the following is not involved in the digestive process in the body? Which of them? We have lungs. Where is your lungs located? This side. We have a set of lungs here, another set of lungs by is on both sides. And then we have mouth. Okay, you have stomach, which is somewhere here. You have your large intestine and your small intestine. So which of these is not a digestive organ, or does not participate in the digestive process? And that would be what? The lung. Because the lung is a respiratory organ. The lung is connected to your nose. Okay, it's a respiratory organ. So it's for breathing. While all these other ones munch, break down food, and get nutrients to be released into several parts of the body, and also involved with waste. You understand now? So lungs is the odd one there. It's a respiratory organ. So A is the correct answer. Question 2. Which part of a flower produces pollen grain? Which part of the flower produces pollen grain? Now, this is a question related to reproduction in flowering plants. And that part of the flower that produces pollen grain is the male part of the flower, which is the anther. It's responsible for producing pollen grains, which will now transfer to the stigma, of course, and the ovary, for reproduction, for the process of reproduction to continue. So the correct answer here is the what? The anther. Question 3. The movement of blood around the body is called what? Now, the movement of blood from one part of the body to the other. Now, remember that blood is a vessel system. Okay, blood carries materials, including oxygen and carbon dioxide, from one part of the body to the other. Blood is in every part of the body, so it's a transport system. In fact, the body's most effective transport system. So the movement of blood around the body is called what? Is it reproduction? No, because reproduction is the coming together of two gametes, or one gamete in the time of asexual reproduction. Okay? Respiration, like I explained before, that's breathing. That's not related. Excretion, passing out of waste, that's not it. And then digestion, breaking down of food, okay, into energy, simple sugar. Then circulation, definitely. Circulation is the process of what? Movement. Let's even forget about of blood. Circulation is the process of movement in the body. So the movement of blood around the body is called circulation. All right? Question 4. A ball and socket joint is found in the where? What part of the body? Which of these parts do you have the ball and socket joints? We have hip, which is here. You have the fingers. You have your neck, ankle, and then elbow. So which of these parts of the body have the ball and socket joint? Now the ball and socket joints will always be located in the hip section and the shoulder section. Okay, the shoulder, you are more likely to know, okay, because of the shoulder section. If you touch your shoulder at the back, you see it's round. Then it has a connector, which is your arm. So which acts as a ball and socket joint. Okay, it's called ball and socket because it has a round top, okay, which is like your shoulder. Same with your hip. So hip happens to be the correct answer there. And then question 5. Which of the following is not a renewable energy source? You have coal, water, waves, sun, and wind. Which of this is not a renewable energy source? That means which of these cannot be renewed? And the correct answer for this will be coal. Okay, because water can be renewed, it's a renewable energy source. Waves, sun, of course, you know the solar system. Wind, there are also wind systems that can be renewed. So coal is not renewable. And then question 6. Which class of food keeps the body warm? We have A, fats and oil, B, protein, C, vitamins, D, carbohydrates, and E, minerals. Now, fat and oil is the answer because fat and oil produces energy, which keeps the body warm. Okay, I see, like you see the little explanation I made here for you. Fat releases more energy per gram and maintain the warmth of the body. So fat and oil is the class of food that is needed by the body for the body to be warm or to retain warmth. Question 7. Which instrument measures liquid volume? Which instrument measures liquid volume? Okay, which instrument is used to measure the volume of a liquid? You have kitchen scale, spring balance, compass, measuring cylinder, and then beam balance. Which of these? Kitchen scale? No. Kitchen scale is used to measure weight. And then spring balance, also for weight. Compass for direction. Measuring cylinder. Now here is an example of a measuring cylinder. It's always calibrated. Okay, and then it has an opening. So measuring cylinder is the correct answer because it is used to measure the volume of liquid. You could have 10, 20, 30, and on like that. So measuring cylinder is the correct answer. And then question 8. Which of these animal is an amphibian? What's the characteristic of an amphibian? An amphibian is an animal that can survive on land and water. So they can live on land and water, amphibians. Now, which of these animals live on land and in water? You have cats. Cats don't live in water. Camel, no. Sheep, no. And then toad. Yes, toad live on the land. They can survive on the land and in the water. So they belong to the amphibian family. So the correct answer is D. And then question 9. Vessels that carry blood to the heart are called what? We have vessels that carry blood to the heart. We have vessels that take blood from the heart. So the ones that take blood to the heart are called what? Okay, they are called veins. Okay. So, and I have a homework for you, assignment for you. What kind of blood do they take to the heart? Okay, I will break it down for you. We have oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So put that in the comment section, the type of blood that the veins take to the heart. So like I've explained, veins takes blood to the heart. And then question 10. The organ for taste is what? What's the organ for taste? You definitely know that. So you have skin, which is for feel or touch. You have nose for breathing, ear, tongue, mouth. So it's not mouth, it's tongue. Tongue is the organ for taste because tongue is a sense organ. And you have how many sense organs? You have 5 of them. So tongue is the organ for taste. Correct. And then question 11. Which is a locomotor movement? What's locomotion? Locomotion is the movement from one place to the other, where all parts of the body is engaged. So in which of these activities do you have all parts of the body engaged? You have pulling. In pulling, it looks like it's only your arms that are engaged. You have pushing, also just your hands, and maybe your leg. Then you have skipping, and then you have stretching, you have swinging. So which of these have all parts of your body engaged and that involves a movement from one place to the other? That's skipping. Because when you are skipping, so you are moving, there's a kind of motion. So skipping is a locomotion movement or locomotive movement. And then question 12. Which one of these is a function of the skeleton of a man, or the skeleton of whatever animal it is? So which one of these is a function of the skeleton? Is it for digestion? No, that's not the function of the skeleton. Protection of internal organs? Yes. So the skeleton is the bony framework, okay, consisting of bones, cartilage, and all kinds of special, tendons put together by God. And what does it do? It protects all the organs inside the body. Okay, so when somebody hits you, he actually hits your skeleton. Yes. So protection of internal organs. This is the primary function of the skeleton, and to give rigidity and structure to the body. Okay, so respiration, no, these ones are for systems. These are systems in the skeleton or connected to the skeleton that perform specific roles. Question 13. The gas plants absorb during photosynthesis is called which of these? The gas that plants absorb, or if you like, the gas plants breathe in. What gas do plants breathe in during the process of photosynthesis? What is photosynthesis? It's the process by which the plants manufacture their own food through the help of chlorophyll and sunlight. Okay, so which of these gas help plants to manufacture their food? And that would be what? Carbon dioxide. It's definitely been taught that carbon dioxide is the gas that plants take in and exude oxygen for man. So carbon dioxide is the correct answer. Question 14. Which is a source of light? Now we have moon, sun, earth, mirror, planet. Which of these gives light? Okay. Now moon does not have a light of its own. Sun has a light of its own. Moon does not have a light of its own. The moon only reflects the light of the sun. Okay, Earth also does not have light of its own. Earth only receive luminance from the sun, okay, or the moon when the sun reflects light on it. So Earth itself does not have light of its own. Then mirror planet, this two does not even, they don't even belong. You see the explanation I made here. The sun emits light, others reflect. By others, I mean the moon and the earth. The earth takes the reflection of the sunlight. So which of these is a source? Source means produces light. Moon does not produce light, doesn't have light of its own. What you see moonlight, what you call moonlight, is just a reflection of the rays of light from the sun. So sun is a primary source of light. That's our answer. Option B. Now, if you have watched the video up until this moment and you are yet to subscribe to this community, I think you should do so now because, like I said at the beginning, we are rolling out a lot of contents that will help you master sciences as a subject and pass it in your upcoming entrance exam. And not just in your entrance exam, to be good in science as a subject so that when you meet it in junior school or high school, you'll be able to fly successfully or fly colorfully. Now we'll go back to the questions. Question 15. Which food source provides energy to the body? Which food source provides energy to the body? And that would be what? Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the body main source of energy. Yeah, carbohydrates. Fiber, vitamin, mineral, water. No, carbohydrates is the body main source of energy. They are also called body energizing food. Okay, they give energy to the body. And then question 16. The process by which water vapor turns to water droplets in the atmosphere is dash. The process by which water vapor turns to water droplets in the atmosphere is dash. You have evaporation, condensation, sublimation, melting, and freezing. The process by which water vapor turns to water droplets in the atmosphere is what? Condensation. So evaporation is the process by which water is taken from the earth into the atmosphere. Condensation is the process by which that water that has been taken into the atmosphere form clouds, which is more or less water, molecules of water coming together, and then the other processes continue. So condensation is that process by which water vapor turns to water droplets. Next, 17. Which animal is an insect? Which of these animal is an insect? You have spider, ant, crab, scorpion, and snail. What's the major feature or the main feature of insects? An insect must have three body parts, which is what? The head, the abdomen, and the thorax. So they have three body parts. Let me say like an ant now. I don't know, I'm not really good in ants. So it has the head, it has the thorax, and they have abdomen. Okay, so which of these have just those three main major body parts? It will be the hand. I made a little explanation here. Yeah, insects have three body parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. The thorax consists of their legs, it connects their limbs. Okay, so ant is the correct answer, is the insect there. Then question 18, taken from 2022 NCEE past questions. The main organ for excretion is the what? Which of these organs help you as a person to excrete waste? Is it your heart? No, your heart helps you to pump blood and circulate blood across all parts of the body. Is it the lungs? Definitely not. As we've explained before, it is the organ for breathing. Is it the kidney? Yes. Your kidney takes in your waste and filter your waste. So the main organ for excretion is the kidney. So once people's kidney have problems, they cannot survive. They need to go through process of chemotherapy in order to survive, which is simply using an instrument to replace the function of the kidney to remove waste from their body. In fact, they need to go sometimes once in every week to be able to undergo this process, because waste should not stay in your body for more than a week. So people who don't defecate every week are in serious problem, at least once a week, because you need to pass out waste. And the function of the kidneys is that organ that helps you to filter the waste and to pass them to the intestine. So kidneys is the main organ for excretion in the body system. Question 19. An instrument used to measure temperature is called what? Is it the meter rule? Definitely not. The meter rule is just a ruler that is used to take length of something. Yes. So thermometer, yes. Thermometer is can be a rod, can be a digital type, whatever. It's an instrument that is used to measure the temperature of a particular item or environment. Yes. So beam balance, no, for weight, protractor, vernier caliper for size. So thermometer is the correct one right there. Thermometer is used to take the temperature of a particular object or thing. Question 20. Which physical state has a fixed volume and shape? Okay, which of these states, these are all states of matter, which of these states have a fixed volume? That means it doesn't change when it's at that state. Gas? No, gas has no fixed volume or state. It's always in a randomized movement. You know, this is the movement of a gas. Let's say this is the gas cylinder. Gas particles are always bouncing, hitting all corners of the cylinder. Then you have liquid. Liquid doesn't have a shape of its own. It takes the shape of any content, like we mentioned before, of the measuring cylinder. The liquid takes the shape of this measuring cylinder. By the time you pour it into a bucket, it will what? It will take the shape of this bucket also. So it doesn't have a fixed, mind the word there, fixed volume or shape. Then solid, yes, solid has a fixed volume. For example, this TV cannot grow bigger than this, otherwise there's a problem. It cannot grow bigger than this. It's fixed. But when you go to the station, when you go to the electronic shop to buy it, you tell them the size you want because it's fixed, and they go get it for you. So it has a fixed volume, a fixed shape. All right, so solid is the correct answer. Now we have taken 20 questions so far. If you are yet to be subscribed, you should do that now. Hit the subscription button and turn on notification. You can also use the link in the description to connect to our apps to practice thousands of past questions for free as you prepare yourself for any exams you might have in the future. Let's get back to it. Which vitamin is produced when skin is exposed to sunlight? Which vitamin is produced when skin is exposed to sunlight? You will often hear that the morning sun, that's between the hours of, let's say in Africa, between the hours of 7 to like 8:30 in the morning, you often hear that 8:39, 9 a.m. You often hear that that morning sun helps the body to produce vitamin D, which is correct. So vitamin D is produced when the skin is exposed to sunlight. It's not the sun that gives us vitamin D. No, the sun shining on the skin helps the skin to produce vitamin D for your body. All right, not the other way. Not that once you're under the sun is giving you vitamin D. No, it's actually assisting your own skin to produce vitamin D. Okay, so like I said, it enables the skin, it assists the skin to produce it. All right, question 22. What is the boiling point of water at sea level? 100 degrees. In other words, you can just say what's the boiling point of water? It's 100 degrees. Water begins to boil at 100 degrees Celsius. If you don't put Celsius, you're not correct though, because there's Fahrenheit. There is other grading system. So Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees centigrade. The water begins to boil at that. And then question next, 22. Which gas is the most abundant in Earth's atmosphere? Which gas is the most abundant in the Earth's atmosphere? So let's say this is the Earth. Yeah. So which gas is the most abundant in the Earth? You have nitrogen that takes about 78%. In fact, this is not even up to, let's 78%, maybe something like this. And then you have oxygen, you have carbon dioxide, you have all those rare noble gases. So nitrogen will take about 78%. So nitrogen takes 78% in the Earth atmosphere. So nitrogen is the correct answer. And then 23, water turns into ice at what degree? What degree does water begin to turn into ice? So which is also called the freezing point of water, is 0 degrees Celsius. So at 0 degrees centigrade or 0 degrees Celsius, water begins to freeze. Okay, never forget it. Boiling point, the melting point, freezing point of water. Never forget that. Question 24. Which organ releases insulin into the human body? So insulin is produced in the pancreas, okay, and released into the body. So the pancreas produces insulin. Okay, so people who have diabetes, who are deficient in insulin, okay, they have to be given assistance for their pancreas to produce insulin in order to fight or to curb the challenge of diabetes. 25. Which part of the plant is mainly responsible for photosynthesis? You have the root, the stem, the leaf, the flower, and the seed. The root, the stem, the leaves, the flower and the seed. Which part of this is responsible for photosynthesis? And that is the part that is exposed to the sun. That is the most exposed to the sun, which is the what? The leaves. The leaves are the most exposed to the sun. Okay? The leaves are in contact with the sun, or the sun contacts with the leaves. Okay? So because it has the largest surface area in the body of the plant. So the leaves is the part of the plant that is responsible majorly or mainly for photosynthesis because it's in contact with the sun. Okay, it also helps to produce. It also helps through the process of chlorophyll. Good. Then 26. What is the force that pulls objects towards the earth? Among all of this, there is all these are forces. Yeah, force of friction, magnetism, gravity, electricity, tension. So, but there is a force among all of this that pulls all objects towards the center of the earth, and that force is called what? The force of gravity, which simply says whatever goes up must come down. So the force of gravity is the force that pulls everything that is up, except you are out of this half, you are in space, then that force does not work. But once you are in the half, the force works on you or on the object. So the force of gravity. Question 27. Which of the following materials is magnetic? In other words, has magnetic properties. We attract a magnet or other substances or materials that have magnetic properties. We have wood, which is not there at all. You have copper, we have plastic, iron, and glass. So, one of the tricks I have in answering multi-choice questions, when you see questions that have a lot of options, as this, just one of these options is correct, and you have 5 options. How do you narrow down your answer, even when you do not know it? So you have to remove the most unlikely. Now that you have 5 options, you can take out the 3 options that are most unlikely. And we're talking about magnetic, which is like magnets, which is attraction between 2 objects. Okay, which of these doesn't even fit in there? Glass. I've not seen 2 glass objects or materials attracting each other before, so glass does not even fit in there. Plastic. When you put your 2 buckets together, do they glue each other? Definitely not. So plastics do not have, they are not attracted to each to themselves or to itself. And then you have wood, definitely not too. So you can rule this out, rule this out, rule this out. Now helping you to be able to narrow down your answer to the 2 likely options, which will be between copper and iron. But for the sake of this video, and the correct answer is iron. So iron has magnetic properties that is able to attract other ions or other forms of metal. 28. What do you call animals that feed on flesh? We have herbivores, omnivores, carnivores, insectivores, detritivores. The herbivores will feed on what? Herbs, as the name implies. Omnivores feed on plants and animals, that's flesh and plants. But carnivores are animals that specialize in feeding on flesh. They don't eat grass, except in very rare cases. So carnivores like lions, okay, even okay, humans are omnivores, but lions majorly, cat family, they feed on flesh. Okay. Question 29. Which of the following is a source of protein? Which of these is a source of protein? You have yam, butter, beans, sugar, banana. The major source of protein here is what? Beans. Beans gives you the major source of protein here. So, which is very good for bodybuilding, which builds your body. That's why you would often hear that those who eat a lot of protein will grow tall. Not only tall, it also show on your skin. It helps your skin, the tone of your skin and the smoothness of your skin. So beans are legumes and are rich in protein, which help in bodybuilding and body repairing. So your body can not only build itself, can repair itself through or by what you eat. So people who are always eating bread and gari, they may have issue with what with growth. They may have stunted growth. So beans is a major source of protein. And then question 30. Which simple machine is found in scissors? Now here is an example, the diagram of a scissors. Please don't mind my wow, this is wonderful. I'm just the best. So that's so funny. It doesn't look like scissors, but you get the idea. So this is their hand. So here is the lever. It's the lever. So the simple machine is that is found in scissors is the lever, the connector to the two prongs. Okay, the lever. Question 31. Which is the correct sequence in the water cycle? Which is the correct sequence in the water cycle? You have evaporation, water lifting up from the earth, okay, into the atmosphere. We have precipitation. We have condensation. I think condensation should come before precipitation. Condensation is what? That water that has lifted up into the atmosphere, forming clouds, condensing, okay, to form heavy clouds, which you see it more when it's about to rain. You see those heavy clouds. Then you have precipitation, which is when that heavy clouds begin to drop as droplets of rain. It comes down as rain. Then you have runoff, which is what? The rain that has come to the earth begins to flow on the floor surface, on the ground surface. So how do we arrange it now? We arrange evaporation, then condensation, then precipitation, then runoff, which is what? Option C. Question 32. The largest organ in the human body is the what? We have the heart, which is here, not so big. You have the brain, which is here, not so big. You have the liver somewhere there. You have the skin. You have the lung. Your lung is here. But your skin is everywhere, from the top of your forehead to the sole of your feet. It's even on your covering your skull. So it's like a clothing for the body. And so with the skin, you can feel, you can touch. So it's the largest organ in the human body, the skin. 33. Which type of waste is biodegradable? Biodegradable. Okay, we have plastic bags, aluminum foil, fruit peel, glass bottle, rubber. So biodegradable simply means a kind of waste that decays on its own, that rottens on its own, that emerges into the surrounding easily. Now, you have plastic bag. No, plastic bags can actually live on the earth's surface for up to 100 years. Studies have shown. Aluminum foil, fruit peels, so fruit peels, glass bottles can even stay for 500 years. Then rubber also, unlimited number of years. So, but fruit peels, it rottens, decays, and what? Enters the soil. So you can see my little explanation here. Biodegradable waste are those that decay naturally. You don't need to pass them through any process, maybe like heating. You don't need to do that for them to decay. So they decay on their own. So which are fruit peels. Question 34. What instrument is used to measure time? It's used for us to know and measure the speed of time. Okay, which of these do we use? Is it thermometer? No, we already established that thermometer is used to measure temperature. Clock, yes, clock is used to measure time. Stopwatch is used to measure a point in time. Barometer to measure what? Pressure. Okay, so clock. So clock is used for measuring time. Question 35. What type of energy is stored in a dry cell battery? In a battery, what type of energy is stored inside the battery, dry cell battery? Is it sound energy, like what is coming out of my mouth? Definitely not. Is it chemical energy, light energy, like the bulbs that illuminate this room? No. Heat energy? No. Nuclear energy? No. The answer is chemical energy. So chemical energy is stored in a dry cell battery, which is eventually used to power devices. Never forget that. Chemical energy. If you have any question either to, or you have better explanation to some of these questions I've taken, why not leave them in the description so that we can interact and form a community together. Also, watch out for the quiz that will be coming to test your knowledge on this particular past questions you're taking. You can find the quiz to that in the description. Moreover, you can practice hundreds of these questions on the app by just going to the link in the description to download and have a wonderful, interesting time. Now let's take the remaining questions. Question 36. Which organ of the body pumps blood to all the other parts of the body? Which organ of the body pumps blood? We already established that the heart helps in the circulation of blood. And when you put your hand on your heart or on your chest, you can feel that beating. It's like a generator that is at work. Those kind of diesel generator. Okay, it's doing the work of what? Pumping blood, okay, and making sure that the blood is purified and moving to all parts of the body as it should, which will help in locomotion and all kinds of activities. So the heart is the organ that pumps blood and circulates blood, distributes blood to all organs or parts of the body. See, I said the heart is a muscular organ responsible for circulating blood through the body. Question 37. Which of these is not a natural source of water? In other words, if it is not natural, it is man-made, artificial. We made it. So let's see. Rain is natural. You cannot control it as it were. But now people are controlling it through scientific means, like seeding. So you have spring. Spring is natural. Nobody created the springs. They just started springing up. You have river. You have wells of water. You have tap. Now, tap is what? Man-made. Man actually set up a borehole and run pipes and create a tap in where they think that water is needed. So tap is not a natural source. It is man-created, man-made for comfortability. D is the correct option. 38. What is the correct number of permanent teeth in an adult human? Okay, we have 32. It is 32. 32 is the number of permanent teeth in an adult human. Once you attain that age, a certain age, some persons say 28, some persons say 27, and it varies. It's not the same across all humans. Some is even much lower than that. So you have your 32 teeth, which also includes your wisdom teeth. So yeah, is the correct number of teeth, permanent teeth in an adult human. Question 39. Which of these animals undergo metamorphosis? What is metamorphosis? It is the stage-by-stage evolve in the life cycle of an organism. Okay? Human beings don't undergo metamorphosis. Just as we are when we are born, is the way we continue to be in form and shape until we grow much older. Okay? The only thing that increases is the size of different parts of our body, and of course, some few features join in. But an animal like what? An organism like what? The butterfly would often undergo several stages. You have the egg, which breaks and changes to the larva, and then the pupa and the adult, all in one lifetime. This animal undergo this. Last week you could see it as egg, and this week it has become a larva, and next week it's become a pupa, and looks completely different from what you saw the week ago. So butterflies undergo complete metamorphosis. And then question 40. Which of the following is a function of the root in plants? Which of the following is a function of the root in plants? You have photosynthesis. No, the root is not the primary player in the process of photosynthesis, which is receiving sunlight, assisting the plants to produce its own food through the process of chlorophyll. No, You have reproduction? No, it's not involved in reproduction. It's also between the anthers, stigmas, and what have you. And then you have absorbing water. Yes. So the root in plants, which is at the base, helps the plant. This is your plant. This is the root, right? So the roots in the plant help the plant to what? Absorb nutrients. Helps the plant to receive nutrients from the ground. Not just water, nutrients, minerals from the heads into the plant. So I will go with option C. And then 41. What is the main function of red blood cells in the body? The main function of red blood cells. You have fight infection, help in clothing, transporting oxygen. Yes. So this is the main function of the red blood cell. Red blood cell carry oxygen from the lungs to other part of the body using hemoglobin. Yes, so that's the main function of the red blood cell, to transport. It's a transporting system. Question 42. Which planet is closest to the sun? Okay, so we have the sun here, Mr. Sun. And then you have the other planets in the solar system. So the planet that is closest to the sun is what? Mercury is the number one planet and very close to the sun. So option C is the correct option. Question 44. What causes iron to rust when exposed to air and water? Okay, the process simply is oxidation. Once a piece of metal is exposed to moisture, water, and air, the process of oxidation occurs, which causes the metal to rust. So oxidation is the correct answer there. 44. Which sense organ helps us to detect sound? This is simple. We have 5 sense organs. Which of these help us to detect sound? Those are your ears. They help you to pick sound and to detect quality of sound. 45. Which of these is a good conductor of electricity? And also magnetic. Which of these is a good conductor of electricity? But in this case, you have only one that is a very good conductor. Others could also classify as a weak conductor, like wood. It's a weak conductor, but you have copper, which is a very good conductor. In fact, it's one of the best conductors of electricity. So that's why you often hear that you use copper wires. Why? Because they are very sharp conductors of electricity. 46. Which part of the body digests food using enzymes and acid? Which part of the body? That would be what? Your stomach is your primary digestive system. So it creates hydrochloric acid that helps in the digestion of food. So I explained it. I said the stomach uses hydrochloric acid and enzymes to break down food. Your stomach. Good. Question 47. What is the function of the white blood cells? And we've been discussing the red blood cells. What is the function of the white blood cells in the body? You have A, carry oxygen, helps clot blood, fight infection. Yes, the white blood cells are like the body soldiers. They help you to fight external invasion, to fight infection. So white blood cells protect the body against germs and diseases by fighting what? Infections. Yeah? 48 now. Which of the following instruments is used to observe very tiny objects? You have telescope, microscope, periscope, barometer, and thermometer used to observe very tiny objects. That would be what? The microscope. The microscope is used to observe very tiny objects that cannot be seen by the visible eye. So you definitely have it in your school. The object comes under the lens of the microscope to view it. And then question 49, as we get ready to round up, which process help plants make their own food? We've seen these questions a lot in the course of this, and that is what? Photosynthesis. And then the last question, question 50, goes, which of the following is not a characteristic of living things? That means living things does not do one of these. You have movement, living things move. All living things move, either in a position or locomotively. Then you have breathing. All living things have got to breathe. Feeding. All living things eat to stay alive. You have reproduction. All living things have to reproduce after its kind. And you have rusting. Doesn't even make any sense. So this is Hoffit. So rusting is the correct option there. Now I've taken you through 50 top science questions that I believe by now, if I gave you a test, you would score probably close to the perfect score. I want you to download the app and practice many of these other questions for free. Also, subscribe and be a part of this, because after this video, we are uploading mathematics, quantitative reasoning, verbal reasoning, civic, and all those other subjects to keep you mentally alert and in good shape for the secondary school experience. My name is David, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.